Welcome to the Relateable podcast, a safe space for open and honest conversations created for Black people.
This podcast explores how we relate to one another in our intimate connections, friendships, family, and everything in between. Hosted by 3 Caribbean women. I am Fiona, a single mom.
I'm Sherween, a very near empty nester.
And I'm Chantal, a free-spirited monogamist. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's episode of the Relatable podcast. And this week we are talking about our first love. Ooh. Now, I would like to tell you all something, Miss Sherween, ever since we sit down in this recording booth, has been avoiding eye contact with us, okay? And I find she has been uncharacteristically quiet.
Yes, what's that word? Is it reticent? You know when?
Yeah, reticent?
Reticent.
Yes.
That's the one.
She is very reticent. So, Sherween, you have heard my stories, Chantal's stories. And I mean, throughout this series, we've been talking about so many things about relating, and we have touched on relationships through motherhood and all these things. So, spoken about our first kiss, okay? All of those things. So for you, what was your first love like?
Can I just start by saying this is going to be a very short episode?
How do you know that? Let's see how it goes.
Because my first love is me. Guys, you know what it is. Like in Chantal's episode, I've had many firsts of lots of different things. I don't think it was love. In fact, you know what? It was not love. It was not love. It was lust.
Infatuation.
It was infatuation. Yep. It was me just wanting to get some dick.
Okay.
It was not love.
All valid.
Okay.
Listen, infatuation is very powerful.
It is.
And that is what it is. So I could tell you my first love was Garvey. He's dead now. But Garvey kissed me and my 3 cousins.
How old was this?
And I was going to primary school.
Okay.
But I was in love with Garvey.
And why were you in love with Garvey?
Because Garvey was the hottest fella in the boulevard. And he kissed me first. So I know that he cared about me.
So because you were
I was the first.
And when you say first out of all your cousins?
Out of my other cousins, yeah.
Okay. So how did you guys feel about being kissed by the same person?
We never discussed it.
Oh.
We just knew that we all got kissed. And Garvey used to climb the plum tree and pick plums for us.
What kind of plums?
The yellow ones.
Okay.
Garvey used to pick plums for us.
I was hoping for red, but it's okay.
No, the yellow ones.
What do you guys call the knobbly plums? The ones that are not smooth. They y'all don't have those?
The red plums? They're red?
I don't know.
I didn't have the knob on the bottom.
Yeah. What do you call that?
A red plum.
You call that red plum?
Yeah.
Okay.
We used to have the big yellow plum tree. But anyway, so that was my first. I think that was like more of an infatuation. But I've been thinking long and hard about this since I knew we were going to talk about it. And if I have to say my first true love, it would have to be the father of my girls, because that's the first person that really hurt me. You understand what I'm equating? He was the only one that could hurt me. You understand? The others couldn't hurt me because I didn't care enough about them. And it's an interesting story how that started.
Hold on. We're all ears. Let me just settle in.
So my parents had just broken up. My mom moved out, took me and my sister, and we went to live at my aunt's. And my dad went to live in Cicero. And when he got settled in and whatnot, he said, look, I want to have the girls for a weekend. So we went. I was 14, turning 15. And we went, my sister and I went to Cicero, and it was nice. He was living with my uncles, and we were just, it was really nice. That my uncles were my mom's sisters. That's how close my dad was to the family. He was with my mom's brothers, sorry. So we went there, And we were sat in the balcony, my sister and we were playing music. And then from across the road, I see a bus pull up, and out comes this beautiful Rasta man. Beautiful. When I say beautiful, when I tell you beautiful, this man was beautiful. Yeah, long brown dreads. You know the ones where they take a lot of sun.
Yes.
Where they either on the beach too long or they
Yes,
take a lot of sun. These ones, and
Okay.
it's long. And I'm sat in the balcony and I'm watching this man crossing the road, and I'm like, hey, who's that sexy ass? I'm 14 years old.
Wow.
I'm like, hey, sexy ass. And he looked up and he saw me staring and he smiled and bent his head and continued on his business. He's very shy, very coy, very, just a nice coy smile, and he went on his business. Never took it anywhere. I'm like, okay. Weeks after, we keep coming to my dad's house on a weekend. Other times I keep seeing him, we keep seeing each other, and he just passes and he says hi. He's my dad's neighbor. He lives behind my dad's house. Just passes and says hi and stuff like that. By then, my dad already realized something, because my dad know every time I hear music, because he passed in with a little radio playing music or something playing music, I run in the balcony. So my dad
Of course.
pick up. My dad pick up on that. So I'm in the balcony and he passed in, and every time he passed, he looking up and he's saying hi and he's saying okay. One weekend I went there and he passed with a girl.
Okay.
I already vex.
He passed with a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and the girl came from his yard. So, and that was his girlfriend, and he was dropping her off to take the bus so that she could go home. For some reason, I don't know if this girl sent something. Bear in mind, I never really spoke to this guy. Never spoke to him. It was just, hi, hello, you okay? Yes, done. Go on your business. And the girl saw him saying hi to me, and maybe I don't know, the way I said hi or my smile or whatnot, I don't know what she got from that.
Woman's intuition.
A woman's
never wrong.
intuition.
Okay.
And then a few days later, a friend of mine who was from the same ghetto she was from said to me at school, because I was in Form 4 at Hess, and she said to me, boy, they have a Rasta man in Cicero. You like that man? You like that man or something? And I'm like, no, what's going on? Well, the woman sent message for you.
Oh,
And tell you to leave her man alone. And I'm like, what a
What?
bumbleclat? She say what? And I swear to God, all
Wrong
I
person.
heard was challenge accepted. Bitch, you're gonna
Sherween.
lose that man.
Wow.
And
And you were how old?
I was 14.
Okay.
No. I was probably still 14, turning 15, because I turned 15 in November. Yeah. So
Mhm.
somewhere around there.
Okay.
So she should not have done that. She should not have, because all the time I was just saying hi, yeah, maybe some light flirting with a little smile and whatnot, but that was it. But when she sent a message for me, that was it. Game over. No, game on. Game on.
Mm-hmm.
So now I start going to my father's house on a mission.
I can't.
I started going to my dad's house on a mission. And it was not an easy mission. We started talking. We started reasoning again, Rasta man, talking about all types of different things, just being really friendly. He had a cat, and the cat somehow took a liking to us, me and my sister, and used to come to our house. So he used to come and look for his cat. You all have my cat? He said, yes, we have the cat. We have the cat. So he's giving him a reason to come out, So anyway, long story short, I ended up taking him on. She hated me, absolutely hated me. But it was not just straightforward. I was still 14. I was 14, 15. He was 3 years older than me.
Okay.
Um,
And when you're 14 and someone's 3 years older than you,
Yeah.
That's
it
a
really
big
seems
deal,
like-
eh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's not really about the
he
age.
had already
It's
finished
the
school.
stage.
Yes, he had already
Yeah.
finished school.
Yeah.
My mom would never. It was like my dad was on him. My dad was like, from then. That's why my father still up to today. The two of them don't get on.
Really?
Up to today. So anyway, we flirted. He and the girl ended up breaking up. But then we kind of grew apart. Not grew apart, but drifted apart. And it was when I left school. I finished school. By then I was 16, turning 17. And then we met each other again. And he said, no, he got sick. He got sick. He smoked a joint. And it was a bad joint.
What they call a black joint.
A black joint. He got a bad trip. And he went missing for a few days. He went walking, how far? And his cousin, I did not know that was his cousin, found me and said, oh, I hear you and that man were... And I said, yes. And she said to me, girl, you don't even know what's going on with him. And when she told me that, I was working already. I started working. And I just dropped everything and I went straight to him.
Wow, Sherween.
I went straight to his house.
You didn't even...
I
did
did not
you didn't
think
question.
about it. Nothing. I went straight to his house.
Why
Tell me
do
that's
you
not
think
love?
you did that?
Because
After having not seen him
not
for so
seeing
long.
him, not speaking to him, and we were just like barely, because St. small. You see people every now and then, but it was like he almost kept himself to himself. And then when I found out he was ill, I went straight there, and I could never forget that. I left work, I went to the house, stayed there with him until 10 o'clock in the night. Bearing in mind, I was like 16. Yeah. All I remember is his mom knocking on the room door and saying, Sherween, your parents are outside looking for you, because they had no idea where I was. I just disappeared. And they came, they picked me up, obviously quarreling and blah, blah, blah. But that's when I knew. Wow. I knew. I stayed with him and he felt so much better. It was his mind. He thought he was losing his mind. Yeah, and it just developed from then. My mom left and I ended up going to live with him. But that relationship was probably me, before I had Haley, me at my happiest. So
Haley's your first daughter?
Haley's my first daughter. Me at my happiest. And it was not, Gassa, we had nothing. We had nothing. We were young. When I say we had nothing, we lived in a house with no electricity and water.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how old were you guys at this
17.
point? So you were 17?
I was 17 and he was 89, 20, 21 or somewhere around there. Yeah.
Children.
We were living together. I left the house and I went to live with him.
How did your parents react to you leaving the house?
My mom didn't take it well. My mom left. My mom was in the UK. She wasn't happy because I left my sister with my dad and blah, blah, blah. It was a long story. Anyway. But we went to live together. I went to live with him and we had nothing. And I tell you, nothing. Yeah. We used to thief water and thief electricity and cook on coals. But that was the happiest I had ever been in my life. And I always say to people, I'm not a materialistic person. It does not take much to keep me happy. What we did was we spent every minute together. Yes, sometimes he would go out to work, but the attention this man gave me and the talks, and we used to go everywhere. And bear in mind, by then I'm a bobo dread because I'm a Rasta, and I wear my, I go into tabernacle and
my long
skirt and I grow in my little dreads and everything. But yeah, we used to go everywhere together, and we had this thing. Everywhere we went, there was 2 birds.
Girls,
everywhere.
Oh,
I
Sherween.
swear to God, there was always 2 birds.
2 little birds.
2 little birds flying around, and they used to just perch. They used to perch on the high tension wires, and we used to look for them. We used to see them and say, "There's the birds," and we used to just talk all the time. It was contentious at times because we were getting to know each other, but I always gave as good as I got. It wasn't a case of me being overpowered or anything. It was lovely. And lo and behold, Haley came.
Lo and behold, Fiona.
Yeah.
Lo and
Just
behold.
so.
But I must say, we spent a long time getting to know each other before we had sex.
Okay.
We did not have sex straight away. He didn't. Again, similar thing.
Now,
he
that's
didn't.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very.
It wasn't. It was not about sex. We took a long time. It left to me, we'd have done it straight away. But for him, he was like, I'm not going to do it. I don't know why, but he wasn't interested in that. I think he wanted he was an only child. He's an only child. And he wanted the companionship.
Yes.
He wanted, to get to know somebody. And
Considering that is a young a young man living on his own,
Yeah.
and a woman come and live with him, and for him to do that, I think that shows a great sign of maturity to me.
He was, and he was fully into the Rasta thing as well, very much, very, very much. So I think it was about us, both of us, growing up.
Yes, it very much sounds like that.
Yeah, we both of us were growing up. We moving from the child to the adult, what we think adulthood is, and we trying to navigate. We trying to navigate, what we're supposed to be doing, and so on and so forth. And then Haley came, and that's why I said I knew that definitely was my first love. He was my everything. He really, really was, until Haley came.
Oh.
I say to people, if I'm stranded on an island with somebody I love, I will survive. We don't need anything. Just tell me you could cut this and cook that on some stones and we good. That's me. I don't need anything. But yeah, we grew apart. I don't want to say we grew apart. What happened was I had Haley. And I was 18 when I had Haley. 18. And Haley, when she came, I fell in love with her.
Oh.
I fell head over heels in love with Haley. So much so, when I was pregnant, I decided to cut my dreads because I'm watching now this man I love, but he's not in a steady job. How are we going to take care of this child? And he loved that child. He loved my belly. He loved me being pregnant. He loved just sitting and singing and talking to my belly. And he used to wake me up and tell me, oh, you need to go take a walk. Remember, I tell you, I used to go and buy bread every morning. And one morning, I didn't want to go and buy bread. And a woman every morning, she tell me good morning. And that morning, I was vexed. And she tell me good morning. And I tell her, chew. Boma temwe se diteo. Now, Lucians will know what that means.
So you need to let us know what it means.
I basically told her, oi, yes, my good morning is your breakfast. What happened? Because she told me I did not say good morning. She said, oh, you passing this morning and you're not saying good morning? And I was so vexed.
Sherween.
I was vexed. Anyway, I blame that on Haley. But yeah, so Haley.
And after that, she never tell you good morning
she
again?
never tell me good morning after that.
I would not either. Hello.
So Haley came, and then I was working, and then I came up here to the UK actually with Haley. Haley was 1.5 years. And whilst I was in the UK, he called and he said, Sherween, I need to speak to you. I've done something. And I said, what happened? He said, no, when you come back. And my mom was begging me to stay. My mom said, Sherween, I have a good standing here. Stay. You could go to university. You could do this. You could do that. I'm like, no, I love him too much. I'm not staying. I'm not going to turn my back, take his child and stay here. And when I went back down, he told me he slept with my friend.
No. So he wanted to tell you.
He told me.
Face
he
to
told me
face.
2 days after I arrived. He said, I can't keep it. And he was crying. He was devastated.
Okay, let me just adjust myself here. So he slept with your friend.
A friend of mine. Yeah.
A friend of yours. A friend.
A friend.
Slept with your partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Both of them almost got killed.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. No, that got dealt with. That got dealt with.
Okay, then.
We don't talk about it.
All right.
But that got dealt with. But yeah, so that's why I knew I loved him, my true love, because of the hurt.
Yeah.
The
Which is
hurt
what you
I
said.
felt. Yes.
Which is what you said at the beginning of the
hurt
conversation.
I felt.
Yes.
I've never felt this way before. My heart literally ripped out of my chest. Not literally, but ripped out of my chest. And I know that I love this man so much. I gave everything to him and to my child. And for that to happen, all I wanted to do was run away. I wanted to go back on the plane and come back to England.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to do.
It's like, bro, you should have just told me
should have
I was
just
in
told me.
England, Jen.
I never forgave him for that back then. I didn't forgive. I was
Right.
like, you should have just tell me.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, instead of
Making me come back. But anyway, it's done. So yeah, along the way there's been lots and lots of other people, but I've never really had a relationship with them that I felt was love.
Okay.
The other relationship was my ex-husband, and we were together for 12 years. Of course, I loved that man. I loved him. I loved him with everything. But
right, that first love.
Yeah.
There's
Because
something special about it that
Very
I don't think
special.
you can. I don't think you ever get it again. You get love in different versions.
Yeah. Because when my ex-husband and I separated, the first person I ran back to was him.
Right.
I ran right back to him, to St. Lucia. Tried to make it work after that. I got divorced, tried really hard to make it work. But
Yeah.
I think it was best we left the past
It
in the past.
expired.
Yeah.
It expired. And
Yeah.
sometimes you can go back, but sometimes you can't.
I just it was a hard pill to swallow, but yeah, it is what it is, and I just I've accepted it.
Yes.
I've accepted it, and that's where it's going to stay. It's not going anywhere now. And yeah, my ex-husband, people grew apart. We love each other for 12 years. We loved each other, but we grew apart. There's not a lack of love for each other. I still love my kid's dad, my girl's dad. I still love my ex-husband, but I also love trees. Yeah, so they're getting that love.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but it's in the past now.
So, at what point do you think that you came to realize that your first love is you? Because that's what you opened the conversation with.
That's interesting. So after my ex-husband, I said, you know what, boy, because I was how old? 35, 36, somewhere around there. And I said, oi, I don't think I have it in me to love again. I don't think that broke me. The breakdown of my marriage. I had so much invested into that marriage. And it's not just time or money. It was my future invested into that. And when it broke down, it destroyed me. Absolutely destroyed me. And I said to myself, I don't think I could ever love anybody again. I didn't want to. Because the hurt from the first one and then that one, I say, my heart can't take it no more.
Done.
I done. And my God, then I met this one person who we shall not mention.
Okay. Right.
And that person just stepped into my life, ran into me. I will always say he ran into me, and just made me realize that I was actually able to love again.
Beautiful. And
that's why I love myself, because I realized that I was at a point in my life where I was so happy. And it was only because I was seeing who I am. I was coming. Understand that I've been living with a man from 17 years old.
Yeah.
Yes.
17 years old.
That's 20 years.
Yeah. Then we came up here in 2004. Met my husband in 2004. Married in 2005.
Wow.
Married for 12 years. Okay, I've never been on my own.
So there was no
break.
Solo time
None.
for Sherween.
Never. I've never had that.
No Sherween.
Exactly.
Not Sherween, the wife, the partner.
Sherween.
And Sherween the mother
and
as
Sherween
well.
the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then I met this person last year, 2020. So I had this 4 years. Yeah, there were guys in between and whatnot, but it wasn't love. It was not love. It was me exploring. And then I met this one, and I was like, whew, I don't think. And I said to him, I remember saying that the night I met him, I said, I think I only have one relationship left in me.
Wow.
Just one more. And the promise this guy came with, and that was the only person in all the others, well, I say all the others, the other two, that I felt I wanted to build and grow with. Because of his ambition, because he was I saw him to be somebody who was smart, somebody well-traveled. And that's the thing for me. I want to be somebody who I could vibe with. Yeah, give me the Rasta man, but give me the Rasta man that goes somewhere.
Yes.
Give me the Rasta. You understand? I love that. I love the fact that we could share. We could speak about different things. We could speak about history. We could speak about all sorts of things. Business. Oh, my God. Start talking about business and I'm going to take my clothes
sweet
off.
Spot. That is
You
Sherween's sweet
understand?
spot.
And
business.
this man came with everything, and he had the confidence, and he's funny. He was not a Rasta, but I saw past that. And
No, but it was the small beautiful moments like dancing to
oh
Barry
my
in the kitchen,
God.
and singing
And
it together
was
with your
just-
heart.
It was just like he came with everything, and he put me right back to where I said I would never go.
Okay.
I would never go there. And I went there, everything dropped, and I slept walk into it. Only to realize it was not real.
What
It was
was
not
it?
real. It was not real.
What wasn't real?
I think, okay, I shouldn't say it was not real. It was real, I think, to him when he was with me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When he's not with me, it's something else. All the promise, all the plans and all these things, it was not in his head. I think he meant good
Yes.
and wanted to do them. And I still think he wants to do them, or he thinks he wants to do them. But I now know that he's a madman.
He's a madman, Sherween?
He's a madman. He's
Or
a
just
madman.
a man who, in your mind, hasn't lived up to his potential?
I think he's delusional.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But I think by delusional, because Sherween and I have discussed it a lot, is that, as she said, whilst he's in that space, he believes it.
Wholeheartedly.
Right? Wholeheartedly, 100%. And even whilst doing things that were counterproductive to their growth and were very obviously counterproductive to their growth, he still believed it. So this is why she say he's a madman or he's delusional, because it's like the things that were happening were very obviously not positive for their growth. But he would be so genuine and so joyous and still speak about these dreams in the heights of their difficult time.
Yep.
So that's why, and I've also been through that as well. And you're like, dude, how are you still talking about them kind of dreams when don't you see what's happening right now?
You know what's going on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So I think, but they do believe it.
Yeah.
And I think that person with you believes all of the things that he said.
Yep. Yep.
And that's what makes it really hard. So guys, another week has come. And we need to know what is bringing you joy. And we're going to start off with Lady Chantal.
In my face just
Yes,
now.
like-
I was like, no.
See, that's what you always do me.
Yes. What's bringing me joy this week? What's bringing me joy is by the time you guys listen to this episode, because we do record them a week in advance. So I'm actually on my way to Birmingham. And my face lit up even when I said Birmingham, because I'm going to get to see my nieces and my nephews. So honestly, I'm just looking forward to spending time with my sisters and my parents and my in-laws and my beautiful tribe of nieces and nephews, Yinkare, Naima, Carrie, and Jaden. They are 4 of the brightest sparks in my life, and they bring me joy consistently, even when I'm not with them. So being with them, that joy is just magnified. I cannot wait. That's it.
Beautiful.
That's wonderful. Sherween?
Lucas has been bringing me joy this week. So Lucas is taking it upon himself.
And who is Lucas, for those of us who
That's
don't
my
know?
son. He's my youngest. He's 15. And Lucas has been doing basketball training. So he's taken it upon himself to go to the park and just train for 5 hours shooting hoops by himself.
Wow, 5 hours.
5 hours. And he's done that consistently since probably for 3 weeks. The last week of school, he made the basketball team, and he's just really, really excited and has these high aspirations as to where he could go with basketball. Now, bear in mind, he's been brought up with 3 girls, and he's the only boy. And since my husband and I got divorced, my ex-husband, we got divorced, it's him in the house with 3 women.
Mm-hmm.
So he have nobody to go and shoot hoops with. Sometimes Haley would go. Haley is my eldest. And he said, you know what, Mommy, I don't care. I'll go on my own. I will do it. And just, Mommy, could you imagine? I could apply for a scholarship to go to school in America and be on the... I'm like, boy, just keep dreaming, keep going. Let's go, let's get this going. And he's doing it himself. And that has made me really happy to see that no matter what, he won't let anything stop him if he puts his mind to it. And that's bringing me joy that my child has very high aspirations for himself.
And he's very dedicated.
Extremely dedicated. He's lost so much weight, all baby weight gone, baby fat gone. He's now developing...
Excuse me?
Yes, six packs.
No. We do not approve this message.
And listen, he is growing and he's becoming such a beautiful young man and just on his path.
Listen.
And nobody could stop him. I am very, very proud of him already.
Me too.
That's
Very
wonderful,
Me too,
Sherween.
Me too.
Well done, Mama.
Thank you.
Hello.
I did something right.
You did many things right, woman.
Many things.
Many things. Right, Fiona. So what's bringing you joy this week?
This week, I was interviewed to talk about the history of Carnival for this film that's coming up. And it's with this company that's putting a lot of investment into the visuals and talking about, they really want to do Carnival justice in terms of talking about the history and the spirituality of it. And in the interview, they asked me questions like, why do you think Carnival gets so much pressure to be stopped? I won't give away. But I just said, because Black joy makes people uncomfortable. And I think I was proud of myself. So it kind of stems also from the incident with the woman in Liverpool Street. So if you listen to last week's episode in What Brings Me Joy, speaking about the incident that happened in Liverpool Street and how we handled it, it kind of stems also from that, from me being brave enough to say the truth and to be truthful, because Fiona from a few years ago probably would have been too afraid to say something like that to a room full of people who are not from my culture. So to do that shows my own personal growth, because I would have been afraid to offend people. I would have been trying to show, the kumbaya, and we're all a happy family, and Carnival is for everyone, and it's and just all of this, but not talking about the resistance, the rebellion, and that Carnival exists because of the constant removal to remove African identity and joy from our culture. So for me to just say that, something as simple as that, I said a lot more, but I felt like we're on a pathway and I'm around amazing people like y'all. And I think the importance of having people, really good foundational people, because there's some people who I consider friends who I cannot have that conversation with, because like we were discussing last week, they'd say, just leave it. Why do you must always bring these things up into conversation? And to be around like people who fortify you in your assignment, like Chantal did say in that episode. Catch it if you did miss it. Your assignment, your life assignment, and to have people to reaffirm that, so that I could sit and actually say that with confidence. I don't know. I felt very proud of not just myself, but the people around me, because it's like we all are collective voices.
Yes.
And that is what brought me joy this week.
And you relaying that story has also brought us joy, Fiona.
Hey.
Makes me feel liberated.
Thank
We're
you for
at
sharing.
a point. I feel like we're at a point where, you know what, no more.
It's time to speak.
It's time to
It's
speak.
time not just to speak, but it's time to speak even when our voices shake.
Yeah.
Because that's usually when it's most important.
Exactly.
And that what you have to say is most impactful when your voice begins to shake.
Yeah.
So my people, speak up.
Yeah, for me, I'm loving myself. Literally, it's just me realizing that I could love again. And that could only happen when you love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot love somebody if you don't love yourself.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I hesitate, right?
At our age
I hesitate.
now.
Why
at
do you
our
hesitate?
age,
I'm hesitating because it's a fine line, because I find that sometimes we can get caught up in the healing of ourselves and being the best versions of ourselves and fully loving ourselves, right? And then I'm going to be in a relationship and then I'm going to meet the right person. And although those things are true, I don't think that if you are not at the point where you're not fully in love with yourself or you're not fully healed, that means that you are not worthy and deserving of receiving love and of being loved and of still wanting to be in a relationship, because you can still continue your healing and you're falling in love with yourself whilst in a relationship. And I know, and I say this just because for me personally, I'm constantly working on myself, right? I'm constantly working to understand myself better and to love myself more, because I do know how important that is. But also for me, it's been a little bit of a crutch for me not to venture into relationships, because relationships are scary as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, you are literally, you're two different people having different experiences behind you, completely different stories, as much as you may have certain commonalities. But these things then put you in a very vulnerable space when you have decided to join or to connect with someone else.
Yeah.
And so I say that my work on myself has sometimes become a crutch, because it's like, you know, I want to be the best version of me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I get that.
I love myself wholly and completely. Then I know that I'm ready to be in a relationship. But that's not always necessarily my truth. I'm not speaking for anyone else. And that's the reason why I hesitated to say, you know what, Sherween, yes, but still, I think we need to be careful.
I think what it is with me is I knew that I know myself. I was in a good space. I was in a space, and I was just happy going on with my life when this man walked in.
Patao.
Just like that. I was happy. I was
very happy.
Yeah.
I was just living my best bloody life. And when he came in, it just made it all that better.
Oh, that's the thing right there. That's the sweet spot.
You understand?
It enhanced what you already
he
had.
Made me realize not what I was missing, but what that just made it sweeter.
Yes.
You get me? Because I was happy.
Yeah.
I was happy.
Yes.
I was good. I was doing my own thing. I answered to nobody. My kids were happy. I'm independent. I take care of myself.
He wasn't a savior because
he was
you were already
not
good.
my savior.
Yes.
At all. No way. And I think he knew that. Not I think, he fucking knew that. Because it was one day when we were arguing in the car, and I said to him, why the fuck did you make all them promises? Why the fuck did you say you want to do this? Why? And he said, well, I'm still going to do it. What is wrong with you? I'm still going to do it. And I said, bitch, I don't fucking need you to do these things for me.
Right.
You understand? I don't need you. And he knew that. So it's like, everything else I could handle. I could deal with but he came with that thing that I didn't know I was missing. And unfortunately, I've made up my mind and I've decided, you know what, let that go. I don't need that. I don't need to fight. I'm not in competition with anybody again. I don't need one time I could never forget, and that bastard, my children's dad, my children's dad said to me, so whose man you take this time? And that stuck with me. Because he knew how we came to be. And he knew, and when he said that, I was like, is that what I'm doing again? I do not want to do that again.
Right.
It sounds like these three motherfuckers showed us.
Wait a minute. Where you going, P? Where you going?
They all showed us that we have the capacity to love and love again, but full circle to be loving ourselves.
Yes.
100. But you know what? I didn't need no motherfucker to tell me that.
Well,
okay? Let me just make it crystal clear. Okay? No, honey.
Oh, yeah.
I was loving myself already.
Yes.
But what and I'm not gonna reduce the men that I have loved and been loved by to motherfuckers. I mean, one or two of them may have been motherfuckers.
Okay, they had motherfucker moments.
Yeah, they had motherfucker
but
moments.
they are beautiful men.
But absolutely.
In many different ways.
In many different
and
ways.
they still are beautiful men in their own ways.
Welcome to another mango tree. So, this week we will be speaking about our favorite childhood summer memory where we were growing up. So, let's take it away, girls.
Okay, so one of my very many favorite childhood summer memories is that my sisters and I, and my brother sometimes as well, we'd walk down to the beach. It'd take us about 25 minutes, but it was a nice walk. You cut through a neighborhood and you get to the beach, right? You cannot walk through that neighborhood anymore. It's been built up. And we just used to spend our Sundays by the beach just doing normal things. And one day, one of us found $25 in the water, like just floating at the bottom of the seabed because the water is very clear. Now, this is, long time ago, $25 is a big deal, right?
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Huge.
We're like, yo. So we bought pizza and ice cream with that money. And I just remember it being like the best feeling ever. I remember seeing the $25 just there, just floating gently in limbo. And when you see like the water is crystal clear and it's kind of sparkling, and like you could see the white sand on the bottom is just right there. And like the $20 is purple and the $5 is green, so it's also almost colorful and very stands out. And for us to just buy pizza and ice cream, and that was, to me, that's Caribbean childhood memory. I think it was very, very beautiful for me.
Definitely. Sounds good.
Chantal?
Okay, right. So one of my all-time favorite summer holiday childhood memories is, it's on Nevis. And every summer, my cousins would come over from St. Croix and Puerto Rico to spend the entire summer in Nevis with us, and my great-grandmother would be in charge of us all, right? So my great-grandmother and her daughter, my great-aunt, would be in charge of this tribe of children from St. Croix, Puerto Rico, Montserrat, St. Thomas, okay? The whole tribe. And we would get together and we would walk to this area in Nevis that's now called Long Point. And maybe it was always called Long Point, but I don't remember. And it has these tamarind trees that bear the sweetest tamarinds known to man, okay? And let me tell you something. In the summer in Nevis, the sun is very hot. But we don't business. And so the gathering would start from Craddock Road, which is where I grew up, yeah? And my cousins who are actually staying with my great-grandmother would walk across the pasture and come to Craddock Road where I lived. And some would say I lived on the annex of Craddock Road and Ramsbury Site, because Ramsbury Site was like posh, whatever. We lived Craddock Road. And we would then walk down the alleyway. We would then gather the cousins that were staying with Auntie Irma. We would go gather one of my besties, whose name was also Chantal, because our mothers just whatever. And apparently Chantal is named after me because she came a few months after me, but I'll leave our parents to decide, whatever. We would gather Chantal and her brothers, and we would all walk to Long Point to the sweetest tamarind trees. We would climb those trees, pick the tamarinds, then walk back to Chantal's home because her auntie had a coal pot. And we would make the tamarind jam on the coal pot.
That's the best way to
Listen, and never mind, we didn't buy no sugar. So, we were raiding the different houses for the sugar.
Yes.
And the cinnamon and everything, and put it in the coal pot. Guys, the sweetest tamarind jam in your life has to be made on a coal pot.
That's the best way.
And the tribe of us would sit there in the yard making this tamarind jam, then barely waiting for it to cool, because tamarind jam takes a while, because the sugar has to emulsify, and then the fruit and everything has to be just so, right? And we were stirring it with a stick.
As we do.
That's what you have to do.
Not a spoon, a stick, okay? And then, we're there and we're chatting and we're arguing. We would go across the road by Mr. Lawrence's shop and buy what we used to call Juicy, because St. Kitts and Nevis used to have a soda factory called
Girl,
Juicy.
we had Juicy.
You had
We
Juicy
in
too?
the glass
factory.
bottle.
In the glass,
It can
the
only
red,
be
the
hello,
red, the
hello,
red,
for
champagne.
$1.
Okay,
Thank you.
Champagne.
listen.
And cola champagne.
Cola
She's
champagne.
so we went and we bought the Juicies or the
Okay.
Brysons.
Okay.
Because we used to call them Bryson as well. And then half a bread and cheese.
Say no more.
Hot.
Okay?
Hot bread
Say
and cheese.
no
Local
Bring
bread.
it back to Chantel's yard.
God.
By then, the tamarind jam had cooled down a little bit. So it's pure sugar.
Everything from the juicy to the
Bryson,
jam.
the jam, the butter bread, and we call it rat cheese, the tin cheese.
Yes.
And it was like the best thing in life.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. And
Yeah.
it was summer. And all my cousins from all over. The best childhood memories, honestly. Summers in Nevis, dream.
That's beautiful, man.
Girl.
That's beautiful. I can taste the juicy now.
Yes. Mine's very similar to yours, Chantal. But what we did, we went, all the cousins, all of us my age, we used to go to Choiseul to meet our grandparents. So I had both my grandparents lived like 10-minute walk, 15-minute walk away. So I had both of them, but we all went to my maternal grandparents. And my God, could you imagine? He used to have, my granddad was alive then, and they used to have probably about 10 of us come down to Choiseul. And he knew what we loved. So he would gather, we used to have lots of cashew nuts, cashew trees.
Yes.
So he would gather all the cashews and everybody would have their own little bunch of cashews. And we had to put it to dry and make sure we look after it because one of us teeth in each other cashew nuts. I used to teeth all the cashew nuts. And yeah, so you have to protect your cashew nuts. And then we used to go pick mangoes. We used to go because there was a massive piece of land and all the fruit trees on that land. So yes. And one memory I had that will never leave me is of my granddad. One night, I think one of us was sick. It wasn't me. I can't remember who it was, but one of the cousins was sick. And my granddad was going out to get some herbs to boil for that child. And I went with him and he was like, I tell him, but how do you know what to pick? And he's just like, don't worry. And then before he picked the herb, he was waking it up. It was in the night. So he was waking up the fly. I said, why are you waking it up? He said, because it's sleeping. And if you pick it when it's sleeping, it will not do the job. So he had to wake it up. And he's waking and saying, please, please wake up. My grandchild is sick and I need you to help her. So, and then he picked it. The herbs.
Wow.
I remember
That's
that clear as day.
beautiful.
And even now, I have all my plants at home. I refuse to water them in the night because they're sleeping. I water them in the morning, early in the morning, or just when the sun is setting, if it's too hot, so that they will absorb all the nutrients from the water, but not in the night. Because I remember my granddad telling me when they're sleeping, you have to leave them. And he was a farmer. So he loved his plants. And just imagine all of us down in the country and we roasting cashew nuts and everybody have our free stones and a piece of what you call the roof, the galvanized, a piece of galvanized and free stones, and we catching fire, lighting, cooking, roasting cashew nuts. But yeah, these were some of my favorite memories growing up as a child in the summer.
That's
beautiful.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Honestly, I do believe that sometimes you connect with someone and it's for that time. It's a temporary thing.
Yeah.
It's
And
to
then
show
you
you
both go your
something.
way.
Yeah.
And it's always to show you. I mean, if you don't learn things from your relationships, then you need to kind of really look at yourself and revisit why you're not even open to learning more about yourself.
Yep.
Because also, I see where I made missteps in my relating to these men that have come and gone in and out of my life. I know that I'm very, very stubborn. I know that. I am queen Taurian with a Virgo rising.
Which I find
and
so
a
funny because
Sagittarius moon.
Ooh, girl.
Stubborn.
but Chantal
all
is so
around.
gentle. She's
No,
like
but
this
I
healing
have
spirit.
to work on it, Fiona.
I know.
Because in my mind, like say for instance, something happens on road and somebody irritates me and whatnot. Yeah? And they're going back and forth with me. I could stand in the middle of that road and argue with them all freaking day. But what it is that I don't have the energy for that. I would much rather expend my energy meeting up with my girls, going to a park, I'm like, I just don't have the time. But that has taken years of work.
Over the years, I have learned to not dim my fire,
No.
but express my fire in other ways.
Absolutely. It's growth.
It's
called
growth.
growth.
Yes. And I've seen the changes and I'm happy with them. I'm happy with where I am now. I'm happy with the fact that I know if somebody says something to me, I could choose.
Right.
Power
I could
choice.
choose
Yes.
to say, you know what, you ain't worth my time today. Not today, ho.
Yeah.
Or I could choose to demolish you,
Indeed.
which I can.
But you're aware of your
But
choices.
I am aware of my
And
choices.
that's
There's
growth.
no red
Yes. The red mist.
The red mist.
The
There's
red
none of
veil.
that.
Yes.
Yes, there's
Yes.
none of that anymore. There is none of that anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of myself. I'm very happy that I'm able to do that. So there's a lot of growth.
I love it. Because if we're not growing, what are we doing?
Exactly.
If you're not growing, you're dead.
I mean, what are we
Exactly.
doing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this has been a wonderful.
Yeah, this series has been interesting.
Very.
And I can see where there's a few other topics that we might need to make separate entities and
Yes.
have episodes on them. So thank you, Fiona, for suggesting this as the
Yay.
topic. I need to. Okay.
Okay.
I really, y'all need to hold me back with that.
I
Just stop.
me too.
Amazing. So thank you, Sherween.
You're welcome.
Wow. So another week has gone by, another episode wrapped up. As usual, we love hearing from you. So please make sure that you subscribe, that you rate, that you review, that you follow us on all the social media platforms that we're on. And I say all, and it's 2. So follow us on Instagram. And what is our name on Instagram, guys?
The underscore relatable underscore podcast underscore
And on Twitter?
at relate underscore podcast.
Amazing. So we're out there in social media land and we're doing our thing and we're doing it for you and we feel the love. So thank you for, oh my goodness, guys, we forgot to thank our very first
I was gonna say that. Thank you.
So
Thank
before
you.
we leave, let us
Thank
explain why we're making up so much noise in the people
deal.
that place. It's a big deal for us. So if you subscribe to our podcast via Acast, you will see that there is a way that you can support us. Because, guys, we are not here in the studio for free.
No, we're not.
It's not edited for free.
Nothing is done for free. We paying, okay? And so by you supporting our podcast, by giving a little cashola donation,
Yeah.
it's actually ensuring that the podcast keeps on going beyond our first season. So this week we had our first donation.
Listen.
Hearts are showering down.
Everything coming out. When I saw that, I think a tear came down.
Oh,
I think I had a tear. It was 10 US, but you know what? The tear came down.
It's
I
a
was
big
like,
deal.
thank
It's a big
you.
deal. It's a
Thank
big
you.
deal
So
because
and she left such a beautiful message as well.
Oh.
So I will really appreciate that. And yeah, keep it coming. If you
Yes.
love us, thank you. Show some
Thank
support.
you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And you know, it's not about the amount. It's
No,
actually
it's
more
not.
about the fact that you are saying to us that you really value
Yeah.
our time that we
Yeah.
put into this. You value the fact that we're telling these stories for us, by us.
Mm-hmm.
And also Merle Roach from Montserrat. We see you and thank you. Thank you so. You have been supporting us from the very first episode. And for you to be our very first supporter in this way,
Big up.
Big
is a
up
big
yourself.
deal
Thank you. Big
from the
hug.
Emerald Isle.
Yes. Yeah.
Montserrat.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, guys, and see you next week. Relatable, because a shared journey brings hope.